2010, Bill and Barb and Alison and I set out to climb Mount Rinjani in Lombok. Well, it all went to custard and the little volcano in the lake blew up and, well, we didn't get there. Instead, we went up Gunung in Bali. Well, you know, wasn't quite the same. And we got up the top there and there's this damn Rinjani away in the distance. Everywhere you go around Lombok you can see the mountain. It just overshadows the whole island. Well, climbing it became a bit of an obsession with me. In July 2013, Alison and Jilly headed off to Scotland. I thought, now's my opportunity. So I headed off to Bali, down to Brahma Travel, and booked a tour up the mountain. Headed off over to Lombok. Went on the little tour that they'd organised, and then ended up in Senaru where they said I was to meet my guide, my porter and other people that were going up the mountain. At Senaru, I figured something had gone wrong. There wasn't another tour group that I was going with. However, one of the people from Brahma Travel called in and said, oh no, it would be alright. I was going to be organised with a group in the morning. Things would be sweet. Well, it pissed down all night. Oh, it wasn't looking good. During the night I was as crook as a dog. I don't know what I'd eaten, but anyway, next day dawned and it was a beautiful day, so it was all go. I got dropped off at the setting out place the next morning and told that my guide and everything would turn up, but after an hour, or maybe more than an hour, I was told that, oh no, there was going to be no guide. It was Ramadan, it was very difficult, and all I was going to have was a porter. But, you know, it would be all right. I'd be able to go with some other group later on. And yeah. So anyway, oh well, that was my lot, so I had to put up with it. So I headed off up the mountain. Could have been far worse. I might have had to have carried a shitload of gear up the hill with my jandals on. So we're heading on up the hill. Got a guide. I'm not sure what his name is yet. There's some sort of private deal going on here, which I'll have to find out later. Chinam turned up. I thought I'd lost him, but he's caught me, so he wanted to have lunch here, so there's a second post. Yeah, didn't take long to get here from the first, that's for sure. And then we entered this amazing forest. Somewhere up there is the rim. Well, hi. The afternoon wears on as I wear down. Just entering the last 3 hours. 600 metres. Oh, what's that? Mount Rinjani from here? Something like that, anyway. I think we've probably got about 400 metres to go, something like that. Sheer hell. Everyone is absolutely knackered. It's Ramadan, the guides haven't been eating, so they're all tired. Maybe an hour. That's the rim up there. We're supposed to be up there for the sunset. Yeah, I've seen a few sunsets. Have my rest. The flag at the crater rim. I was looking forward to seeing that all day. The cloud, that's the way we've come. It's slow. So, and here's the crater. Hi.
That's okay.
And we're going up there, still a little bit more. We got to the top and, well, went to make camp, but the trouble was all the other people's guides had got up there earlier in the day and, yeah, so we ended up camping virtually in the rubbish dump and we were probably 2 metres from the crater rim. Well, I'm right up above the crater of Rinjani. I fell over into that fog there. I would keep on falling. There's about 2.5 metres, 3 metres to the edge. Oh yes. So my porter cooked dinner. Oh God, yeah, I still had the shits. Anyway, he assured me he'd wake me up to take the climb, but I woke up early in the morning and most people had pulled out and we headed up the hill. So I quickly got ready and I was away. Well, so here I was heading up Rinjani without a guide. Well, luckily for me, a group of Hong Kong Chinese people were there and they said I could tag along with them. They didn't seem to care. It's pretty dark up there and the people had a guide, but I don't know what happened to the guide, and you're sort of feeling your way. But you knew you could see the path. You kind of had to be careful you didn't go astray though and fall down the volcano. But yeah, it's all right. Yeah, finally it got light and you started to see these amazing views over Bali and over the other side to Sumbawa. Yeah, but then it became evident that the scree slope was ahead of us. They always said the scree slope would take about 40 minutes. You just had to kick your way up it and it was bloody hell, honestly. I was told that this was going to be the crunch point in the whole climb, and yeah, unfortunately none of my Chinese friends kept going. They just didn't make it. So yeah, finally just above me was the summit. Yeah, whoa! Looking down at the lake, it was just so cool. Like everywhere was really cool. Yeah, and even better was seeing Gunung way over in the distance, over in Bali. I knocked the bugger off. Almost didn't, but yep. So here we are, top of Rinjani at last. Over to Sumbawa. And then something really neat happened. They all took off. And there I was at the top of the highest mountain in Lombok, all by myself. So I headed off down, after a while, down the rocks to the bottom, to the top of the scree slope, and I met a Canadian guy, French-Canadian guy. He was coming up and he was knackered. He was ready to hand it in. I says, come on, we'll go back up. So yeah, I climbed Rinjani twice. How's that? I was all downhill from there. No pun intended. The Canadian guy's guide was waiting down the end of the scree slope to make sure we got down, so that was pretty cool. When I got back down to the campsite, I found the guy had been through all my gear looking for money, and then he informed me that he didn't have much water left, and I was pretty peed off over the whole thing. I just said, just take me down, get me out of here. Well, he wasn't very happy about that, but he did. And what he did was he took me a hell of a long way down. We had to go all the way back to Centeroo, and I looked at the map and it wasn't that much further to do the next 2 days trek. But anyway, that was it. I got back to Centeroo and called up Parama Travel to come and get me out of there, get me back to Singigi, and they were pretty cool and they came and did. Well, the sleep was amazing. Walked around Singigi the next day, and then the day after that I caught the boat back to Padding Bai, and at Padding Bai another little adventure occurred. I must have been still Rinjani lagged, and it was directed to jump on a bus that was heading back to Kuta. Didn't realise it was going to head up into the mountains and take me to a resort up there. Well, I ended up in a resort up there, and they said, oh, hold on, we'll ring Parama Travel. But anyway, I hitchhiked back to Sanur with some English people, much to the dismay of people up in the mountains. Finally caught a taxi back to Kuta, and that was the end of my Rinjani adventure. It was nice to be back in familiar surroundings, back at the office, catching up with everyone. Yeah, most of all, the surf. the surf was just great. It pumped and pumped and pumped, and kept going until it was time to go home, back to New Zealand.
Kita jalani, adakah sebaik keraguan dalam lubuk hatimu?
One day Brett turned up with a Superman suit. And he said, "Oh, why don't you put it on and I'll take some photos." Well, okay.
Kau pahami betapa arti cintamu. Akhirnya kita sadari ini pun akan terjadi. Perpisahan yang harus aku hadapi. Andai ku saja menanti, yakinlah